Intergovernmental Relations and Neighborhoods Committee. I'm Councilmember Weezer, Vice Chair of the committee, be joined by Councilmember Marquise Harris-Dawson. Now I'd like to take up the general comment cards. I don't believe we have any. No general comment cards. Okay, so we could take up. We do have one. No general public comment cards, or there is one?
They're on specific items, sir.
Oh, okay. So we'll skip the general public comment cards. We'll take up items 1, 2, and 6. Any questions or comments on 1, 2, or 6? Okay. Yes, if you could read those into the record, please.
Item number 1 is motion Cedillo Harris-Dawson relative to recommendations for legislative proposals for the city's 2017-18 state legislative program that would help cities to facilitate the development of housing, including affordable housing and permanent supportive housing, sir.
Okay, we have one comment card on item number 1 and job.
Good morning. My name is Ann Jobe. I'm from the Sylmar Neighborhood Council, but I'm representing myself. We will be having this item on our agenda for making a community impact statement on it. We have a big homelessness problem in Sylmar, and our neighborhood council is very much engaged with this problem, and so I thank you very much for having this on the agenda today.
Great, thank you. Just make sure you get the statement in before this is taken up in full council.
Correct. Our meeting is this coming Thursday.
Okay.
So even if it's after it's gone, we'll go on record. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so if there are no questions or comments on items 1, 2, and 6, we will move to adopt the motion on number 1, adopt the CLA report and resolution on number 2, and adopt the city clerk's report and recommendation on number 6. No objections, so ordered. Okay, let's go to item number 3. If that could be read into the record, please.
Item number 3 is Resolution Cedillo Bonin and CLA report relative to including in the city's 2015-16 state legislative program support for Proposition 62, the Justice Works Act of 2016, which would repeal the death penalty in the state of California and replace it with a sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole. Sir, you have a card.
Okay, we could also do item 4 together with that. You could read that, please.
Item 4 is Resolution Cedillo Bonin and CLA report relative to including in the city's 2015-16 state legislative program opposition to Proposition 66, the Death Penalty Reform and Savings Act of 2016, which would reform the death penalty process in order to expedite executions. And sir, you have a card on that one too.
Okay. Thank you. So we'll take public comment on item number 3. Mike Farrell.
You said item number 2, sir?
Number 3.
Thank you. I ask Council support of Proposition 62 on the November ballot. Our death penalty system has failed. We know the death penalty is racist in application. It was only used against the poor and the poorly defended. It entraps and kills the innocent with guilty and is hideously expensive, each of which are reasons to do away with it. Justice Breyer made clear last year it's time for it to end. In 38 years, we've sentenced about 1,000 to death and executed 13 at a cost of $5 billion, which breaks down to $384 million per execution. We have 750 men and women waiting their appeals, which take 25 to 30 years, and as many on death row have died of natural causes, 9 times as many have died of natural causes or suicide than have been executed. Prop 62 will replace the death penalty with LWOP, require those serving to work, and pay 60% of their earnings to a victim's restitution fund. The state legislative analyst says we'll save $150 million every year.
Great, thank you. And we also have a comment card for you at number 4. Do you wish to speak on that now?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you.
Thank you. Prop 66, also on the ballot, is yet another attempt to fix the death penalty system. It cannot do what it claims. It imposes additional levels of appeal, lengthening the process. It attempts to limit our state's Supreme Court to 5 years to resolve appeals that now take them an average of 12 years without any capacity to enforce such a limit. As everyone knows, we cannot put limits on the court's time of deliberation. 66 requires appellate attorneys untrained in death litigation to take cases they don't want, which will further lengthen the process. Worse, 66's attempt to save the state money does so by moving costs to the counties, an unwelcome and inappropriate burden on county residents. It has no effect on the federal courts, which return 60 to 70% of all death verdicts to the state. I urge you to endorse Proposition 62 and oppose Proposition 66.
Thank you very much. The CLA here, can you, and thank you very much, Mr. Farr, for taking some time and come out and speak on these 2 items. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Our office, in response to 2 resolutions related to death penalty, one for adopting a resolution to support Proposition 62 to support the Justice at Work Act, which would repeal and replace the death penalty with life in prison without possibility of parole, and another resolution in opposition to Prop 66, which would attempt to make reforms to the death penalty process. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer them.
Great, thank you. Any, so just as background, once the council if the council should adopt these motions as resolutions as proposed, these then get sent to our state legislative advocacy team, these are propositions. So what I know, when we support or oppose certain bills, we get our team in Sacramento. They know what our position is. Here with propositions, what's the city's activity?
I think John Wickham might be able to answer that a little bit better.
Good morning, John Wickham with the Office of the Chief Legislative Analyst. This is a little different than our typical legislative action. Typically, our team in Sacramento would be talking to the legislature and the governor's office about legislation. Since this is a proposition that's on the ballot, this is something where it's simply a statement for the public to consider when they are casting their vote in November. So this is not something that would be lobbied or promoted in that kind of way.
Okay, but it also does give the campaigns an opportunity to say that the city of Los Angeles has taken a certain position, right?
Exactly.
But we don't do anything other than, we don't do any proactive.
Exactly.
And on some bills that are going through the legislature, we take a position, most of them just sit there unless the mayor's office or the council in their language asks for proactive lobbying, correct? Or how does that work?
Yeah, once the council passes a position on a bill, it is the lobbyist's job to pursue that position in the legislature, and the council and the mayor can actively work with our team in Sacramento to do more.
And who does that lobby report to? To the CAO, CLA, mayor's office?
To the mayor.
Council president? To the mayor. So
To the
that
mayor.
person reports directly to the mayor. Okay, great, thank you. Any other questions or comments on these? Okay, so we will move then without objection to adopt the CLA reports and resolutions with respect to both of these items. And items 3 and 4, we will, the item as written is to support Proposition 62 and oppose Proposition 66. So we will adopt those without objection. So ordered. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, item number 5.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
if I could just make a record, Mr. Previn walked in at 8:45 after the items had been called and is claiming that he should be allowed to speak, but the item had already been called.
Okay, thank you. And I did, the only record I have up here is item 5, so you kept those cards there because you did not submit them up here, correct? I only have a number 5 up here. Mr. Previn for item number 5. Okay, thank you. So for item number 5, can that be read in the record, please?
Certainly. Item number 5 is a CLA report and resolutions at Bonin relative to including in the city's 2015-16 state legislative program support for Senate Resolution 39, which calls upon the state of California to divest from Donald Trump, the Trump Organization, and any affiliated entities, pardon me, and also an instruction to the city administrative officer to report with steps for the city of Los Angeles to divest from the same entities as applicable.
Okay. So, any questions or comments on this item? Seeing none, okay, we'll go to public comment. Eric Previn. Mr. Previn, as you walk up, the city attorney's office explained why your cards were not taken up on the previous item. I know committees operate differently. In my committee, though, as is the case here, I'm chairing it today, once the item has started, that closes the opportunity to submit cards, and those items were already taken up. In fact, we are taking a vote. So, but we did get your card for item number 5.
Thank you. So what I'm hearing is you're going to reconsider the other items and let me just speak appropriately on them? Or-
No,
Oh,
those items just passed. Yeah, I'm just explaining to you what happened.
But couldn't you have reconsidered the item in less time, and then I could have addressed it appropriately? I came all the way down here, sir.
Yes, in my case.
You want to discuss that with Mr. Harris-Dawson, then report back in 1 second? I'll take a minute.
No, we're not going to discuss this and take a minute. Sir, you're up on item number 5.
It's a rough room, sir.
Yeah.
This, I believe, is Mr. Cedillo and Bonin. Cedillo is in Hamburg in Copenhagen on Hangover Council Member Edition. But he made a motion that I thought was sensitive and appropriate to look at ways that we could, as a city, reject the odious content that has emitted from Donald Trump regarding immigration in Los Angeles and around the world. And, you know, I think it's an interesting area. Mr. Cedillo has been very vocal in the past about similar things in Arizona. He made a proposal that he then, of course, had to cave on when Mr. Englander and Arnie G. Berghoff, who are the lobbyists for Taser. As you know, Englander is not really a lobbyist, but he works with
Sir, this is an item 5.
But I don't understand the technical details, because does the city have business with Donald Trump? Do you know, sir?
Okay, can we call the CLA up, please? And I received 2 cards already, one for item number 3 and one for item number 5, which are blank. They just have the numbers. It doesn't have a name or anything else. So I don't know what I'm receiving here.
Did we want to take those?
Is this Ms. Job? Okay, we'll take you up after the CLA, but I did not call you for 3 because it doesn't have a name or anything. It just says 3. Okay. All right. Yes. That was a good question that Mr. Previn raised, which is, do we currently invest in any Trump-affiliated businesses?
Well, the city has not, since we haven't adopted a position, we haven't initiated that level of research, so it's unknown at this point if we have. Excuse me, Blaine Sutton Wills, Office of the Chief Legislative Analyst. The report that the CLA is putting out is that this decision is going to be a policy matter for council to adopt. The resolution resolves that support Senate Resolution 39. what the CLA's office is recommending that you consider as a policy decision. But if you so move, you would adopt the resolution Cedillo Bonner.
Thank you very much. And I assume we would also get a city attorney's report as to whether there are any contractual obligations, if there are any business that we do with any Trump-affiliated organizations, and what that means for us, correct? But
Exactly.
my point being is that as we move forward with this, if there are, we would like to see that without and have the council, the legislative body, determine whether we would still want to break those contractual obligations and see what the repercussions would be of that.
Excuse me. In the second aspect of the resolution, we asked for a CAO report back on all the issues. We can definitely include that and work with the city attorney's office and the CAO's office.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, and for the record, we've been joined by the chair, Mr. Wesson, and okay. I was looking for your gavel but couldn't find it. So we'll take up public comment, continue with public comment. Ms. Job? You got to put your name, because if you don't put your name, I don't know who to call.
I understand that. I was writing as quickly as I could.
Okay.
So can I speak on item 3, 4, and 5?
Actually, we're on item 5, and we
Okay.
already moved on from item 3 because we didn't have
I got it. Yes, I
didn't have a name
understand.
on
I just thank you for letting me speak.
it. Okay.
I'm here from the Sylmar Neighborhood Council, supporting only myself, speaking only for myself. I am thrilled to find that this is on your agenda, the removal of our relationship with Mr. Trump with regard to item 5, and I want to applaud you for taking this under consideration.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll, without objection, move to adopt the CLA report and resolution on item 5. Thank you. Any other items on the agenda?
No, sir, that clears the desk.
Anything you want to share with us, Mr. Wesson? No. All right. So that adjourns this meeting. Thank you.